All right, how are you doing? All is well with you? Hey, that is my hope, and of course, welcome once again to One on One, the show that creates a platform for you to get to understand some of the personalities that shape the agenda of the news in Rwanda, the region, and of course, the rest of the world. We are here yet again to talk about yet another issue that concerns us in one way or another as a country, and of course, digging more deeper and asking more questions concerning the ongoing Miss Rwanda beauty pageant, the search for the beauty queen that will be known as Miss Rwanda 2015. And my guest in studio today is none other than the advisor of the Miss Rwanda project, is John Munyenshuri. Welcome to One on One, sir.
Thank you very much, Eugene.
Some people call you Mr. Bling.
They call me, Bling.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got Mr. Bling in the studio with us today. But of course, we're here to talk about certain serious issues that people are asking, some serious concerns that some people have concerning the ongoing Miss Rwanda beauty pageant. First of all, looking at your role, maybe you can make us understand properly, what exactly do you advise them on?
Basically, I'm an all-rounder. Miss Rwanda project is a national brand, and with experience I have in the fashion and beauty industry for over 20 years, where I was requested to come on board and advise on in both the backstage, the forward stage, and even the girls, how the girls should present themselves to the world, and the dressing, the dress code, and the attitude. That's what I say, the all-rounder, really. Yeah.
So if we say that, or if we hear people complaining and saying that this whole beauty pageant, the organization, the way the girls are dressed, the way the judges are conducting themselves is a sham. So the person that they should be pointing their finger at is you?
Basically, I can't take all the blame. In any institution or in a project, you find hiccups, and Miss Rwanda is one of it, and even other fashion shows and beauty pageants around the world. Things cannot be 100% in any event, So pointing a finger at a person, I think, is very relevant, because as you know, that we all make mistakes, and we learn from mistakes. The mistakes that took place in the past are the ones that make things better this year. So, and I guarantee that this year you're going to see a difference, because we've all come together with one vision and one goal to make this a success. So I guarantee pointing fingers this moment. Let's wait until the last day. Then we can make a decision, and then you call us here again and say, well, we saw what happened. Now, tell us, this went wrong and that went wrong. I guarantee, but there's nothing in the world is 100%. We'll probably be 99.9%. And
I don't want to put you on the cross without properly understanding the background information of exactly how long you've even been part of this. Were you there in the 2014 one?
I was there as a spectator in the audience. Yeah, I was invited to check it out, and So last year, the organizers did their best, and I'm not going to blame anyone. They did their best, but mistakes always happen in everything we do, and I know there were some mistakes, and they learned from those mistakes, and I guarantee that this year, there's a lot of improvement in what they're doing. And, okay, sorry.
Because specifically speaking, talking, why I asked you about last year is because, again, as we continue with this year's project or this year's event, as you say again, I'll pick from your own words, of learning from mistakes and also advising on how to correct on those mistakes. This is what I think you are probably doing right there. I hosted the reigning Miss Rwanda just a few days ago here on this particular show, and she mentioned some of the things that went wrong during last year, and one of them was a promise that was never kept, and this was on the prize. That was the car, which even it was in the news, different news channels, that she had been given a car that was not the value of what she had expected or what she had been told. Number two, the organization, she was elected, or she was announced as the winner the next day. you know, around 3 a.m. after the event had taken all this time. So as we look back at those mistakes, today, what is the assurance that whoever is injecting the money, and that is the taxpayer, that their money will go into good use, if not at all to abolish the whole event?
You see, as I said, the mistakes mistakes make us stronger to make positive things. Yes, whatever she claimed that she didn't receive. But I must say something. Miss Rwanda is a brand. And if anyone, whoever takes that brand, he or she, not he, Miss Rwanda, she has the opportunity to correct what went wrong, because they have the brand in their hands. So
you think she's the one who needs to correct whatever went wrong? She needs
to correct, because she had this opportunity. Now, if you give an opportunity to run as an ambassador, then you have this whole world for you.
How does she correct that?
I'll tell you how to correct it.
Yes.
She can go out there and outsource, require the resources that she needs to make her prizes come in place, you know? Do you get my point?
Like what? Let's talk practically speaking, because I'm sure you know what they're supposed to be given, whoever emerges the winner. So let's talk specifically
about the prizes. Yes.
What can she do in her own hands?
As I say, that I wasn't there. That was a mistake, and whatever happened.
If you were to advise the current organizers,
the current organizers,
what would you tell them to do?
The program is well set. Everything is all in place. The cars are there. Whoever's going to win the car, the price, the money, $1,000 a month, and all that stuff, it's all set. But as I said, when you're doing such events, such big projects, you're bound to find some, some issues. I don't want to say.
But as there's something you were starting to answer, then you reach somewhere you sort of let it go. And this is that thing that you've said, Miss Rwanda is a brand.
Yes, and
that she has the power to correct whatever has gone wrong.
Exactly, and I was coming to that.
Tell us about that.
You see, what I meant by the power is that you have a brand. I give an example. You're given a phone, and the phone has a fault, but it's a gift you've been given. Yeah, you've won it. But the power you have is to get some money and go and correct it. Go to mechanics, wherever the shops that repair them, they repair it. She has a brand that she can use that to correct what went wrong. You see, it's like a blank check you have. And I'm thinking that any Miss Rwanda who takes over, whoever wins, they have to be smart enough to use this brand to work for themselves, to help them to work and improve their lives. But if you rely on the gift or the prizes you're given, you're not going to go far with that, because what if the car breaks down? What are you going to do? Then you're going to look for the person who gave you the prize and say, well, my car is broken. You have this chance to correct what went wrong. The car is faulty. Yes, okay. What can you do? Let me be creative and find something that will help me to mend what has gone wrong.
In the first place, I shouldn't have been given a faulty car, John. Why would I be going again through the hustle and bustle of fixing the car, yet I was supposed to be given a new car? I'm trying to say this because we need to learn from that mistake, as you say, so that we don't hear of the same thing happening this year once you announced or the winner is announced.
Yeah, sure.
So what should the one who will have won do if they were to fall in the same problem?
Either to fall in the same problem, thank God it's not going to happen. But if they fall in that problem, I would do exactly what I just said. She would do that. Because the girls that not use their own money. You have a blank check. You have a brand. You know. You have a brand to go out there and outsource and get resources, both locally and internationally. And that's what she has to do. Whoever wins, you have a check, a blank check with no money written on it. You can go out there, go to the region, East African region, go to Africa. The whole of Africa is open, you know.
So what you're trying to say is they should not focus too much on the material gift. They should focus on what they have that has made them win.
Because we have the power within us, all of us, to achieve whatever you want to do. Because if you spoon-fed, that you keep on begging, you keep on asking for help. But we don't need that anymore. We don't want a Miss Rwanda who's like that. We want a Miss Rwanda who's open-minded and very creative.
That's what we look at the prizes that are being...
Yeah, the prize is just a small token, but you have a bigger challenge in coming up, and you're there to, you're an ambassador. An ambassador is there to go beyond and just kind of chip it off your shoulder and say, this is just a car, but I have better things to go and look up to, because you can use the power you have in you to achieve the even 5 cars that you want to have, you know?
Millions and millions of money of Rwandan francs is usually pumped into this particular project, mostly from the coffers money. And there are those who have felt like we are putting, or we are not really focusing on our priorities. We're not picking our priorities right. There are those who have complained and said, why should we put that money there? Why should we invest our time there in this whole Miss Rwanda thing? Just because other countries have this beauty pageant, do we also feel like also Rwanda has to have it? Or do we really understand the meaning of this thing? So if you were to defend this project today and defend and say, this is why we use your money to do this particular project, what would you tell us?
I'll tell you exactly what I would say. First of all, I'm 200% defending this project. As I said at the beginning, it's a brand. Just like any other brand, Christagina, naming the gorillas, it's a brand here in Rwanda. It's attracting in tourism. The same with Miss Rwanda. Miss Rwanda is a brand that can bring in millions and millions of dollars in terms of investment from other countries. And who does that? The winner of Miss Rwanda is going to go out there and say, guys, bring your investment in here, because she has the power. She has the power from the government. She has the power of the Waturages, and all the people in Rwanda, they're all looking at her. So she has to be smart. We don't look at only beauty. No, this Miss Rwanda is not just beauty. It's brain, culture, and beauty, brain, and culture, BBC. So we are looking at all these categories. You have to fall into that. Then you start crying of my car breaking down. Oh, they gave me a 40 car, because you have the power to change.
Are you trying to say that she's crying?
No, I'm not saying her. I'm not saying that she's crying. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that Miss Rwanda, this kind of Miss Rwanda is crying. I'm just trying to clarify things that to avoid these kind of issues coming up in the future, we have to have a Miss Rwanda who's sharper. And I'm not saying she's not sharp. She's sharp.
You're being too diplomatic. Just say what you want to say.
She has to be. I'm trying to say that Miss Rwanda coming in has to be very sharp and smart.
Okay.
Yeah. Smart in terms that when your car is, when you're given a 40 car, just say, well, that's all right.
Okay.
I've got better things. Then just look at next level and see what I can do that will make me mend this car and probably even buy another car for myself. Then I don't have to rely on the gifts that are given to me, you know?
Let's pick from the ambassadors part, where you say that just like Kwitezina, Miss Rwanda project can as well attract investment, foreign direct investment for the country.
Sure.
This is probably the 3rd time, right, that we're doing this event.
With Miss Rwanda?
Yes.
I think, yeah, sure. 3rd or 4th time.
Should be.
Yeah.
So, if we look back and talk of the impact assessment analysis of this project, what or where can we touch and say this is the amount of investment, just the way tourism on its own or agriculture on its own has contributed to the country's economy? This is how our investment into Miss Rwanda project has borne fruit. What can we say? How can we look at that and say that this is how we have achieved in that direction?
Well, I don't want to go in the past, because I don't want to make statements that might put me in an awkward situation. What has happened in the past with Miss Rwanda, I don't want to make a comment on that, because I'm not so well versed in it. But I can talk about from now. As you were, we're starting a Rwanda Fashion Council. Now, this Fashion Council, we want to have the reigning Miss Rwanda to be the face of the fashion and beauty industry in this country. So she can go out there and bring in all these big farms, corporations, beauty farms in America, in Europe, to come in here and set up businesses. That's the kind of things we're looking at. And not only that, we want Miss Rwanda to go into the Miss beauty pageants, the world beauty pageants, like Miss World, Miss Universe. Because then, by reaching there, we're going to have direct foreign investment, because then she can have the voice to speak on the behalf of the country. I want to see Miss Rwanda in United Nations to go and represent Rwanda, talk about issues that affect young people in the country. All these things are going to, that's the program. We have a bigger program.
Is this part of the MOU that you have with the project managers?
Absolutely,
that
yes.
If this does not happen, if she doesn't go to Miss World, whoever wins, if we don't have at least some investments coming in directly courtesy of the Miss Rwanda project, then what are they going to do to you?
You see, this is not like a dog-eat-dog kind of thing, you know.
Yes.
I guarantee they won't do much to me. I'm not going to die. What doesn't kill you make you stronger. Now, I know I'm not going to die, but what I know and what I believe in, there's always opportunities, and this is an opportunity. And opportunities are ready to be grabbed anytime when you're ready. I'm ready, and they're ready. We're working together to make this happen. You know, but as you said at the beginning, that money comes from different outsources. It comes from the coffers in here, and the taxpayers and other organizations abroad. But we are ready to show the world and people in Rwanda that it is durable, and we already have a program that is going to make it happen. You know, everything happens through a program. If you have the right program and the right strategies, then you're going to find everything in place.
So in other words, this way of doing things in terms of their part of the bargain and your part of the bargain, and what you bring on the table versus what your employers bring on the table, you have said that you are supposed to help them achieve those particular targets. That at the end of the day, at least the winner participates in the other international competitions that go along with beauty pageant.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what then?
Can I correct this? I'm not just a helper. We're going to work in partnership. Because on my own, I can't do it. But we have to work together as a team. Because they have what I don't have, I have what they don't have. So together, we'll make it happen.
What don't they have?
No, I mean, I don't know what they have and what they don't have, but what I know that what they have is now they're in it now, you know? And if I say they don't have this, I don't know, I can't tell the details, but I know that we're all different. There's something you have and I don't have, and there's something I have you don't have. And that's how the synergy works together to make things happen. That's why I'm here. You call me because I have something that you don't have. And this something is what I'm telling you now, because you didn't have that.
So at least you know that. At least you know that. But then what about them? Because when you come to do this job, at least you have to know that this is why they've called me to do this. So what is that is lacking? What is that is lacking that you're here to help put in place?
Okay, I won't say lacking, probably there's something there, but I want to bring my own skills in there, my experience. As I said at the beginning, I introduced myself. I've been in the industry for 20 years, 20 plus years. I've worked without mentioning names, I'm sure I'm not allowed to mention all this yet, but I've worked with international beauty pageants around the world in different countries, Europe, North America. I've worked here in Africa as well, and so I want to use the skills and the experience I have to bring it on board and help develop our country. Okay, so please go ahead.
Good. So, John, there's another issue that people probably judge the whole project using or basing on, and this is what it's based on what they see during the stages of the selection.
Sure.
And this has to do again with the way these ladies carry themselves, the way these ladies answer questions, the way these ladies communicate. And I insist on the communication part, because that is where people have, I could say innocently or even unfairly, created a laughing stock out of some of these ladies who are not able to express themselves properly in English. They're asked a very basic question, for example, who inspires you or what inspires you? And they just start answering other things. When you look at that, when you see that happening, and at the end of the day you see a public outcry of people hurling so many, insulting words at the whole project based on that, do you think they're unfair?
That's not good at all, and that's why this year they changed the whole audition style of what they did last year. They had the audience in there. This year it was just the journalist and a few people who were concerned, and that was just because of that, because the girls become nervous. But I must say this: it's a young industry growing. Anything young is bound to make mistakes. And that's why we're coming in. We're going to train. We're going to give them all these skills. We want to bring in some other internationals who have been in it so they can give some skills in it. We're not only doing it in the Miss Rwanda. It's an ongoing thing. We want to do it through the fashion industry. Because I realized most of the girls who came to Miss Rwanda, most of them are models as well in the fashion industry. So we thought about it, said, oh, you know what we can do now? Through the fashion, we can get trainings as well. So the girls, before they go on to join the Miss Rwanda, they're already trained. They know what to do. They know what to say.
Have we started doing this?
Yes, we started. And this came from day one when we went down in the different provinces the first time. And I realized that some of these girls were in the fashion industry in Kigali, and I saw them there, and I realized they could not speak, because in fashion you don't really communicate much apart from modeling and walk and kind of go.
So that could be the problem.
It's a problem, yes, and we saw that. Everyone knows it's a problem. And how can you solve this problem? It's by us who are in the grassroots, I mean the fashion industry, because they all come from the fashion industry, to train them, to give them the skills of how to behave and how to walk, the etiquette of communication as well. So we can include it in there. And I'm sure this will change it as time goes by, because it's still young, but it's growing.
So you mentioned the journalists, you mentioned the media, and I have a feeling that there are those in the industry or the sector who may seek to differ with just what you just said, based on an incident which also hit the airwaves a few days ago concerning the treatment of journalists who are coming to cover these pre-selection stages. We have even pictures that have been doing rounds on social media where the pictures show journalists taking their videos and pictures from the glass doors, from outside. Because the doors have been shut, they're not being allowed to go in and access the event that is going on. Are you aware of that incident?
I don't like to make much comment on that. What I could say, when you're a judge, you don't really see much that happens behind the scene. But I remember seeing lots of journalists inside. Most of the space we used, it was quite small. And we couldn't, 50 journalists would be too much to have in the hall. And I believe that's why they had to control that, because I'm sure each news media had a journalist inside. But at times, you can see news media come with 6 journalists with cameras. It doesn't really make sense to have 6 people in there, because then the space is just limited. And I kind of agree. I think the media has to be disciplined as well. I see it, and I don't want to mention my own private enterprise that I do, but you find, like, when you're doing shows and you invite a media house, without mentioning name again, and you say one, a writer and a cameraman, and they end up coming 7. Then you know what happens? They say, no. We only need 2, and then the rest stay out. They cause a flow out of it. So is
this the official position, or is this what you think happened that day?
I think that's what happened, and it's not official, but that's my view, the perception. That I think that's what happened, because there were so many of them, and the rooms where we're doing this were quite small. No, otherwise it would not give that image. And not only that, the girls were meant to be coming there without the audience, because trust me, some of the journalists, they come in there to take their own private pictures and send them out straight, and the embarrassing moments kind of. So I think
because that was the perception. This is what was being said, that after the public outcry on the Miss Rwanda project, it seems like now you guys are after giving media blackout, because they seem to be focusing on the embarrassing moments, which you sort of are trying to control. Could this be a true perception?
Probably yes and no. And I say yes because you see, I've seen lots of videos that went around the world, and I saw one when I was in London, and it was about one girl who was speaking English, and that was last year. And it was unfair, it's unfair because it's a new industry, and the media is supposed to promote this new industry than putting it down. And most cases, media houses abroad, they're there to pick the wrong part, because they're developed. These media houses have been there for 50, 100 years, so they can afford to do that. But a growing industry in Rwanda with few media houses is good. It's better for us to nurture this new industry, look after it, give the good image. Because we haven't even been to Miss World or Miss Universe. But then if you take these pictures out there.
So you're trying to say we should censor the embarrassing moments? We should censor those moments that we feel are going to portray the whole event or a certain individual in the wrong light?
Exactly, because there's no reason to embarrass anyone, you know. I don't think so. Even we as judges, I don't think you're right to embarrass anyone. To give a question, you know, that the person will find difficult to answer. Because we're here to promote, and we're here to promote the country. Now, if you have a girl who's so good, very intelligent, and you ask a question that is going, you know she's going to fail, but you know for sure that she's very intelligent, then what's the use, you know? So me, I'm a little bit softy with that. I'm thinking that's the only way to go for us to promote the industry. Let's be nice and a bit more humane to these people,
to the participants. So in closing, because our time is also up right here, the Minister of Culture, and of course we've also had the government through him and other people who have been spoken. I've always been saying, when we started this project, we did not want it to be a government-owned project. We wanted the private sector to take it and run away with it, and so that our part is very minimal in this whole thing. Why is it that it's taking too long for the private sector to fully own the Miss Rwanda project?
I must say that this the current team organizing Miss Rwanda are doing a tremendous job. I must say they're trying their best. And as I said, that there's always mistakes. We all make mistakes in things that we do, such big projects. You find mistakes, and afterwards you go through it. Now, your question. Why is it taking so long? You see, when you're building a house, you start with the foundation, and you get the sides of the wall, and you build and that's where we are. We've been on the foundation to get everything in place. Now,
the past 4 years, almost. We're still on the foundation.
This foundation takes a while. Rome was built in how many years? So we're private. We've come on board as a private company to work with the team. The team that is doing is private, and I'm sure the government's position is to let it go and have the private companies run it. And which is fantastic, and I'm sure the government has that in mind. That's what they want. So we can run it and take it to another level. Of course, with the backing of the government, because it's a government brand.
Yes.
We cannot just take it fully and say that, oh no, we don't work with the government, because the government has to be there somehow. You get it? So. Saying that the government should let go, the government will let go. But it's a baby, when you're growing up, the child crows and
so you're saying it's too soon for the government to let go?
It's not soon, and it's not soon. And
tell me, pick one, bad man.
Well.
Where are you? Here or here?
Well, I'm here and here.
John.
Let me finish this point. The government is going to let go. But do you have a child?
Yes.
That child, when it was 2 or 3 years ago, crawling. Would you just let the child just go and say, well, come on, go?
Yes, I let the child learn the hard way.
Yeah. But at times you intervene, and times you go and intervene. If there's stones around there, you let the child go. The swimming pool say, come on, you walk, go. And the child go, and the child goes and drowns and say, you learned the hard way, but the child will not wake up again.
Of course,
no. So that's what I'm saying. The government has to be there.
But realistically speaking, timelines, because in closing now, timelines, when do you think this is going to be achieved?
Soon.
Because when you say that we're still on the foundation, Rome was not built in one day, but then when?
Now.
So if the government today said, the money we've put in, the effort we put in, we are pulling out, can the private sector really run this thing?
The private sector has got the capability of doing that. We have the resources, we have the contacts, we have the network. All we need is network and to make this happen, and it's going to happen.
Okay.
Yes.
John, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Asante sana for being on One-on-One.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, there you have it.
My
One-on-One comes to an end at that particular note. John Munyenshuri himself, of course, he says sometimes he's referred to as Mr. Bling.
Bling, ding.
Coming over to talk to us more about the Miss Rwanda project. Now it's up to you to decide based on what you've heard right here and also what you're seeing happening in that particular project. My name, as always, is Eugene Anangwe. And a disclaimer, everything said here, it is not representative of our views and, of course, not the views of the representative of Contact. Thank you so much for being with us. Goodbye for now.